ॐ वक्रतुण्डमहाकाय सूर्यकोटिसमप्रभ निर्विघ्नं कुरु मे देव सर्वकार्येषु सर्वदा। सरस्वती नमस्तुभ्यं वरदे कामरूपिणी विद्यारम्भं करिष्यामि सिद्धिर्भवतु मे सदा। गुरवे सर्वलोकानां विषये भवरोगिणां निधये सर्वविद्यानां दक्षिणामूर्तये नमः। ईश्वरो गुरुरात्मेति मूर्तिभेदविभागिने व्योमवद्व्याप्तदेहाय दक्षिणामूर्तये नमः। सदाशिवसमारम्भां शङ्कराचार्यमध्यमाम् अस्मदाचार्यपर्यन्तां वन्दे गुरुपरम्पराम्। श्रुतिस्मृतिपुराणानाम् आलयं करुणालयं नमामि भगवत्पादं शङ्करं लोकशङ्करम्। साक्षात्कृतं दयानन्दं परमार्थस्वरूपिणं तत्त्वज्ञानप्रशास्तारं प्रणतोऽस्मि परं पदम्। ॐ सहना भवतु सहनौ भुनक्तु सह वीर्यङ्करवावहै तेजस्विनावधीतमस्तु मा विद्विषावहै। ॐ शान्ति शान्ति शान्तिः। 80th class. Can just repeat. वासुदेवेन्द्र योगीन्द्रं नत्वा ज्ञानप्रदं गुरुम्
वासुदेवेन्द्र योगीन्द्रं नत्याज्ञानं प्रदं गुरुम्
मुमुक्षूणां हितार्थाय तत्त्वबोधो विधीयते।
मुमुक्षूणां हितार्थाय तत्त्वबोध विधीयते।
आत्मा तर्हि कः
आत्मा तर्हि कः
सच्चिदानन्दस्वरूपः
सच्चिदानन्दस्वरूपः
सत् किम्
सत् किम्
कालत्रयेऽपि तिष्ठति इति सत्
कालत्रये तिष्ठति इति सत्
चित् किम्
चित् किम्
ज्ञानस्वरूपः
ज्ञानस्वरूपः
दक्षः
आनन्दः
सुखस्वरूपः
सुखस्वरूपः
एवं सच्चिदानन्दस्वरूपम्
एवं सच्चिदानन्दस्वरूपम्
स्वात्मानं विजानीयात्
स्वात्मानं विजानीयात्।
We have seen Atma Kaha iti. What is Atma? Now that we have seen the last 4-5 classes, the discussion on Sat, Chit, Ananda, the three important words which define what Atma is. Atma is Sat. Atma is Nirvikari. Atma is Nityaha. Atma is Satyaha. Atma is Shuddhaha. Atma is Muktaha, Mukta Svabhavaha. Anatma is, it is Asat. Anatma Savikari, undergoes changes all the time. Therefore, it is Anityaha. Therefore, it is Mithya, doesn't exist on its own. So, iti, what is Atma and what is Anatma, clearly we saw. And Atma is Ajaha, Ananda Swarupaha, Sukha Swarupaha, Jnana Swarupaha, Nirvikari. Iti, there are many words. Nityaha, Satyaha, iti. Many words are there to describe. But you see the definition, the three words are used. Sat, Chit, Ananda, iti. The three words are used to represent the Swarupa of Atma. Even though many words are there, the three words are mainly used. Satchit Ananda Swarupaha iti. There is a reason. We have seen what is Sat, what is Chit, what is Anandaha. These are the Swarupa, Swarupam, Swarupa Lakshanam of Atma. But why these three particular words? Because we have three, the basic, the orientation or the preconception about ourselves. And the preconceptions are the wrong preconceptions, the wrong ideas, the wrong notion about oneself. To dismiss that, the three words are used. In fact, the three words in the form of iti, this is what is Atma iti. Iti, even though it defines, Atma is this. We have seen Atma is, can be, first we have negating. We have negated what Atma is not. Then we are saying Atma is this iti. The negation is called Nisheda. It's called Nisheda. Nisheda Mukha. By negation, not this, not this. Then by Vidimukha. Vidimukha is by saying positively, this is what it is. So Nisheda, negation. Vidimukha means this, neti, neti, iti. What Atma is not neti, neti. What Atma is iti. And in the definition of Atma, iti, Sat, Chit, Ananda, we say that word also Sat, Chit, Ananda. The individual words are specifically meant to negate the wrong preconceived idea or the notion or orientation about oneself. What are those three main important wrong preconceptions about oneself? The first thing is Aham Martyaha. Martyaha means Aham Manushyaha, I am mortal. I am a being subject to Marana. Janma is there, therefore Maranam is there. Maranam cannot be avoided. But nobody wants to die. Everybody wants to live. Everybody wants to live. How long? As long as possible. If there is a possibility to live forever, then we will choose that because we don't want to die. That very fact we don't want to die itself shows that we love ourselves. That self-love is the love for oneself. That is why you don't want to die. So the self-love is that even the person who commits suicide, it is not out of hatred. It is out of self-love because it doesn't want to see himself or herself suffering. He or she wants to put an end to that suffering. Because doesn't want to see himself a dukkhi, a suffering person. Therefore, the person commits suicide. Therefore, suicide is an act, is a stupid act, thinking that putting an end to oneself, there will be the end to the sorrow, the dukkha. So it is an act to put an end to one's dukkha, the sorrow, the suffering. Therefore, it is love only. Because one love oneself, therefore only the person does. But even though it's a wrong act, but there is self-love. Everybody loves oneself, and therefore one doesn't want to die. Therefore, therefore, nobody wants to die. Everybody wants to live. We don't like the word mortal. I don't want to be subject to death. But the fact is, I die, the body dies, but I have this conclusion that I am this body mind sense complex. Therefore, with the death of the body, I die. The conclusion is that, and I don't want to die. This is number one. I want to be immortal, to put it positively. The second, the conclusion, what we have is, I am not happy, I want to be happy. Even if I am happy now, I want to have this happiness continue for how long? Forever. Nobody wants to be happy only for a certain period of time. They want happiness forever. Today, tomorrow, day after tomorrow, all the time. I want to be happy all the time. And that's why we struggle to be happy. We struggle and take up various activities, do various action for what? For gaining this happiness. I don't want to be unhappy. I am unhappy. If I'm unhappy, I try to make myself happy. So I become unhappy. I become unhappy when I when 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 I see myself to be a unhappy person. I want to be happy all the time. So therefore, since there is a struggle all the time to become a happy person, the struggle to become happy itself shows that unhappiness is not your nature. Happiness is, it must be the nature, therefore you want to be happy. So you want to live forever. You don't want to die. I want to be immortal and I want to live happily. I want to be happy all the time. So therefore there is this strong urge to be happy. Therefore, when the moments of unhappiness come, I look for solution to be happy. I look for solution to be happy, and I want to prolong this happiness. So, unless the happiness is my swarupa, I will not attempt to be happy. I will not attempt to be happy. If unhappiness is my swarupa, then I will not try to be happy. That way also, if unhappiness is my nature, then I will not try to be happy. Because unhappiness is my swarupa, my nature, I will be happily unhappy because it is my swarupa. But nobody does that. Therefore, the very attempt the very attempt to remove unhappiness and wanting to be happy all the time shows that happiness, that is also becomes one of the purushartha. The happiness. We think the happiness is gained through artha, through the accomplishment of artha and kama. Therefore, all our focus is on gaining artha and kama, security, and gaining the gaining the pleasurable things in life. So therefore, wanting to live forever and wanting to be happy forever. These two things. In fact, you live forever and you are happy all the time. That is your nature. That we don't know. Therefore, because of the wrong notion, the wrong knowledge, thinking that I am mortal, thinking that I become unhappy many times in the world, in the transactory world. So therefore, all our attempts are to prolong this life and to sustain, to have this happiness for a long time. All our struggle are centered on this. Then the third, the wrong conclusion, what we have about ourselves is, I want to be, I want to be knowledgeable. I don't want to be an ignorant person. I don't accept, I don't want to see myself to be an ignorant person. I don't want to be ignorant. If any topic is taken for discussion, I don't want to be ignorant about that. I should have knowledge about it. This is what everybody's thinking is, everybody's want is also, everybody wishes also. So I want to know everything. There should not be any area of my ignorance. I want to be knowledgeable. With regard to Sanskritam, I want to know. I want to know everything. With regard to any subject matter, I want to know. This hunting, the search for knowledge is there. The search for knowledge is there. That is why we pursue knowledge, we pursue education, we pursue different studies. But there is a limitation. We cannot know everything. The mind being limited, and the scope for the knowledge is infinite. So we cannot know everything. At the same time, I don't want to be ignorant also. But the fact is, the you have areas. You have got certain area where you are very strong. Certain area of knowledge where you are very strong. Certain area you are not, but you know that you don't know. So you are you are the person knows that what you know and that what you don't know also. What you know is known to you and what you don't know is known to you. Both are known to you. Therefore, you are that knowledge. What knowledge? The knowledge of a known thing and the knowledge of an unknown thing, both you have. You may not have the detailed knowledge about the thing that you need not have also. You need not have also. But you are aware of your knowledge, you are aware of your ignorance. In fact, that ignorance is also a knowledge. but you know it. You know that you don't know. That is a knowledge. So ignorance and knowledge really, it is not yours. It belongs to the mind. Mind limit being a limited thing, how much information you can pack in the mind. It is only a information. We wrongly think that information is knowledge. Information is not knowledge. You are knowledge. You are aware of your ignorance, ajnana vishaya. You are aware of your knowledge also, jnata vishaya. So, jnatam, ajnatam, both are known to you. Because you, here you identify with your buddhi, the karana shariram, because there is this abhimana with the karana shariram. Therefore, when the buddhi doesn't know, you think, I don't know, I'm ignorant. With reference to this body, the body dies, therefore you think, I die. I am mortal. With the death of the body, I die. Identifying with the body, you think I am mortal. Identifying with the mind, you think I am not knowledgeable, I am ignorant. So all identification. One is with the Stula Shariram, other one is with the Karana Shariram. But what you are Sakshi. Because you are Sakshi, therefore you are aware of both ignorance and knowledge. You are ignorant with regard to certain things. That is fine. That is not a really a problem. That is not really a problem. With regard to a certain things, you don't know, you are ignorant. So that should not be a problem. But thinking that I am ignorant, that's a problem. Therefore, you being the Sakshi Chaitanya, which doesn't change, which doesn't undergo any modification, and which is present all the time, which is present in every experience, knowledge experience, every ignorance experience also, because you illuminate, you are the illuminator even of that ignorance, as you are the illuminator of the knowledge. You are the illuminator of the ignorance also, because you are Jnana Swarupa. So, you being the Chaitanyam, the awareness, the consciousness, of nature of consciousness, everything is revealed to you. Your the ignorance with regard to certain things, the ignorance of the buddhi with regard to certain things, the knowledge of the buddhi with regard to certain things, everything is revealed to you. So you see everything. So I am Sakshi Chaitanyam. I am the witness of both my knowledge and my ignorance. And being Sakshi, being Chaitanyam, and therefore that always exists and doesn't die. Therefore, there is no death for me also. And it is not limited also. Is it limited? It doesn't have limitation. It is limitless, infinite awareness, the consciousness, that is you. Because it is limitless, therefore it is complete, it is Purnaha. Therefore, when it is complete, Purnaha, it must be Ananda Swarupaha, Anantaha, Anantaha eva Anandaha. When it is complete, what is required to fulfill it? There is nothing required to fulfill it when it is already complete, Purnaha. The happiness, the hunting for happiness comes only when you feel that you are not complete. You think you become complete, you think you become Purnaha when you accomplish the object of your desire, object of your happiness. But you are Purnaha, limitless. Nothing can really fulfill. Like in the Gita, Bhagavan Krishna says, Apuryamana Machala Pratishtam. In the Gita, the second chapter, important chapter, Sankhya Yoga, where Bhagavan Krishna, when he talks about the Lakshana, Stita Prajna Lakshana, at the end of Stita Prajna, the Lakshana, he says, Apuryamana Machala Pratishtam, Samudramapah Pravishanti Yadvat, Tadvat Kamayam Pravishanti Sarve, Sashanti Mapnoti, Na Kamakami iti. That is, no objects of desire will make the jnani fulfilled. As all the rivers enter the ocean and the ocean remains peaceful and calm, it is not disturbed. Similarly, all the Vishayas of the world enter the jnani. It doesn't create any agitation in the jnani because already complete. So this is not going to create any desire, any pressure in the person, to go for that. So therefore, Ananda is your Swarupa. So therefore, only to negate these three, that Aham Martyaha, I am mortal, you are not mortal, you are Sat, you exist forever, your nature is existence, and you are knowledge, therefore Chit, Chaitanyam, consciousness, you are the illuminator of everything, you are Sakshi Chaitanyam, and you are Purnaha, you are complete, therefore you are happiness. Happiness is your Swarupa. So three wrong orientation, preconception removed by three wrong words. And that becomes the Lakshana of Atma. That is why we say Sat Chit Ananda iti. So what Vedanta says is basically you are a happy person. You are a Purnaha. You don't have Maranam. You are Jnana Swarupaha iti. So, but what we say is I am mortal, I am ignorant, I am not happy. Three wrong conclusions about oneself. These three wrong conclusions are negated, are dismissed, because our whole life is centered only on these three wrong conclusions. Any activity you see, it will be depending on only these three wrong conclusions. You self conclude about yourself, you conclude about yourself, that is self conclusion, and that is wrong self conclusion. And having wrong conclusion, self conclusion as a basis, all our activities are done based on this wrong conclusion. Therefore, these three wrong conclusions Vedanta dismisses just by mentioning the Swarupa of you as the Lakshanam of Atma, as Satchit Ananda Swarupaha iti. That is why the three words. The three words it's not just randomly chosen. It has got a purpose why it is used. So with this topic, we discussed this topic for many classes. So we will move on. We will move on to the next topic. As I said, the first topic of the Tattvabodha is Sadhana Chatushtaya Sampatti. The second topic is Swarupam of Atma. Now we are going to enter the third topic. So the third topic is called Ishvaraha, that is Tat Pada Vicharaha. Tat Pada Vichara. So before I enter the topic, You have to know certain things. Previously, we discussed about the Swarupa of Jiva. That is why it is Koshatrayam, the Kosha Panchakam, Shariratrayam, all these things were analyzed. We talked about the individual, the Jiva, Vyashti. Analysis about the Vyashti. Vyashti is the limit, the individual, that is the Jiva. Now we are going to discuss about the Samashti, the total. When we say total, then Bhagavan walks in. Even Vyashti also Bhagavan is the total. When we say it is the total is, when we say total, the Jagat walks in. The Jagat, Srishti. Because Srishti, the creation is real for us. We live in the world. So it is real. And what is the reality of that which we think it as real? That is the discussion. So therefore it is Samashti, total. That is creation, Srishti. Analysis of that. So that is the next topic. So first, the previous topic was analysis of the individual. That is Vyashti Vichara. The Vyashti Vichara, we arrived at the conclusion, understanding that the Chaitanyam, the awareness, when it is looked upon from the standpoint of the individual body, it is called Atma. When the same Chaitanyam, Atma, when it is looked upon from the standpoint of this Jagat, the creation, the created, it is called Brahma. It is called Brahma, not Brahma. Brahma is different. Brahma is different. Gurur Brahma, Gurur Vishnu, Gurur Devo Maheshwara. There Gurur Brahma is Brahma, that Dirga, the long vowel. Brahma. Brahma is Chaturmukha Brahma, Brahmaji. The creator Lord, Brahmaji. The second line, Guru Sakshat Param Brahma. In the shloka itself, second line is Brahma. That Brahma is short vowel, ending with short A, Brahma. That Brahma is Atma only, the Chaitanya only. It is from the standpoint of the total. So, two words we use. So, Brahma, it is Brahma, it is not Brahma. That is, we have to note it, because many times we say Brahma, Brahma, it is not Brahma. We are not talking about the God with form. We are talking about the Chaitanyam, the consciousness, with reference to the total, which is known by the word Brahma. Why it is called Brahma? Because it is derived from the dhatu. It is derived from the dhatu Brugh, Brughi, Vruddhau. Vruddhi means that which is ever expansive, infinite. So Brahma is Chaitanyam. Chaitanyam doesn't have limitation. It is Sarva Vyapi, all pervading. Everywhere it is there. There is no place where it is not. In fact, the place itself is superimposed on that Brahma, the Chaitanya. Place and time is all our orientation, strong orientation. We cannot think of anything without having the place of location and time. Because mind is like the mind is also has got this the limited limitation. Mind has got the limitation. It can think only, or it can objectify only which is available in place, which is available in time. Mind has time and place. It cannot think of, it cannot conceive of anything. Mind is just a tool. What we know by the mind is only a limited, that which is not subject to any limitation. How the limited mind can know? Therefore, we cannot conclude that what mind know, that is only real. We cannot know. We cannot say. We should not say what It's known by the mind alone is real. We cannot say. What the mind can know is only limited. Mind being limited. Therefore, all the knowledge will be limited. Therefore, that which is not located in time or place, which is everywhere, all pervading the principle, that is Brahma, the Chaitanya. That is because we have the previous orientation of knowing a thing with regard to its place, the location, the time. Therefore, we have to say it is all pervading. What is all? The word all pervading, the all also to meant to remove the wrong orientation. Remove the orientation with regard to the location, with regard to our conception of a location, a place. Because we have that orientation to remove that, to knock off that. We say it is all pervading. All means it is everywhere. Everywhere means there is no place where it is not there. Therefore, everywhere. Therefore, it is the adhara, it is adhishtanam, it is a basis even for the place. It is a base even for time. That is why timeless, we say. Timeless or spaceless, distanceless, awareness, consciousness. That is Brahma. So with regard to the total, we call it as Brahma. With regard to the individual, we call it as Atma. Atma and Brahma, two different words we use from two different standpoints. One from the Vyashti, individual, one from the Samashti, the total. So Vyashti has been discussed. Now Samashti, that is Srishti. Samashti is Srishti. Vyashti Srishti is the Srishti of this Shariram. The Srishti of the Shariram also we are going to discuss. With regard to the already Shariram is there. We have got this Abhimanam with the Shariratrayam Panchakosha, that has been discussed. What is Shariram? What are the Shariratrayam? And what are Panchakosha? How it is created, we have not discussed, that we are going to discuss. When we discuss Samashti, then this creation of this Yashti Shariram also will be discussed. How it is created, how it has come to existence. It has come to existence. It enjoys existence. The Shariram also enjoys existence because of Brahma, because of Atma. Shariram is Mithya. It doesn't enjoy existence of its own. It has come and it will go. Therefore, it is Mithya. How this is created, that is also going to be discussed together with the discussion of this Srishti, the total. But we have done the analysis of the individual, that is Vyashti Vichara. And now we are going to do Samashti Vichara, which is referred to by the word Tatpada Vichara, the Mahavakyam. Now, let us know what this Mahavakyam is. We have to discuss Mahavakyam. That is the Tatparyam of the Shastram, the Upanishad. What is this Mahavakyam? What is a Vakyam? Vakyam means a sentence. Vakyam means a sentence. Mahavakyam means a great sentence, a great equation. We can call it as an equation. Equation. What is an equation? An equation is that where two things are equated. Two different things are equated. We don't say apple is equal to apple. Apple is apple only. Orange is equal to orange. Same only. They need not be equated. They are same. We don't need equation for that. When there are two different, totally different things, which are not same, and they are equated. Totally two different things, which are not same, and they are equated. They are equated in an equation. Then only you need an equation. You don't need an equation for equating the two totally two different things you cannot equate. Totally two different things cannot be equated. For example, you cannot say 1 is equal to 2. 1 cannot be 2. How can it be? 1 cannot be 2. 1 is equal to 2 is a wrong equation. Because on the left hand side we have 1, the numeral 1, and the right hand side number 2. They are not same. So these are totally different things. But I said totally different things are equated. When they are equated, how can they be equated? Totally different, two totally different things. They are not really different. They seem to be different. Then they can be equated. Now I'm adding the word seemingly. Totally two different things can be equated. If two things are same and there is no difference at all, then we don't need equation, number one. And totally two different things cannot be equated, like 1 is equal to 2 cannot be equated. So in both these cases, equation not required. One case equation is not required, other case equation not possible. For two same things are there which are same. For that we don't need an equation. For two totally different things, there cannot be equation. But there are two different things which appear to be totally different, but they are not different. Then they can be equated. Then equation is possible between them. So therefore, the equation between the two seemingly different, impossible things is possible. Seemingly impossible. It is only seemingly. Therefore, there is possibility. Like what? Like we can say 3 plus 2 is equal to 1 plus 4. 3 plus 2 is equal to 1 plus 4. The numerals on the left hand side are different, completely different from the numerals on the right hand side. The digits are not same. 3 plus 2, 3 and 2 are there on the left hand side. On the right hand side, we have 1 plus 4. 3 plus 2 is equal to 5. 1 plus is equal to 5. The sum is, that's why they are equated. 5 is equal to 5, we don't say. For that, we don't need an equation because it is obvious, it is a known thing. But 3 plus 2 and 1 plus 4, totally different. Totally different things cannot be equated, I said. But here, the totally different, seemingly different things. That is why they are equated. So, this is called an equation. Similarly, in Vedanta also we have an equation where seemingly two different things are equated. Totally, seemingly, apparently, two different things. Apparently they are different. They are different and they are equated by a Vakya, and that Vakya is called Mahavakya. The great equation, Mahavakya, a great sentence. There are many Mahavakyas. The famous Mahavakya is Tat Tvam Asi. Tat Tvam Asi. Tat means that. We know Sanskritam, we have seen Tat Shabda, Sakataute, and Napumsakalinga, Tat Te, Tani, we know. So Tat. Similarly, Tvam means you, Tvam, Yuvam, Yuyam. Here we take Ekavachanam. Tat is Ekavachanam. Singular, Pratama Vibhakti, Ekavachanam. Tvam is also Pratama Vibhakti, Ekavachanam. It is Madhyama Purusha. So Pratama Purusha, Tat. Madhyama Purusha, Tvam. So Tat, Tvam, Asi. The meaning is that you are. You are that. You and that. They are equated. You are that. What is you? That is what the That is what we discussed. Vyashti vichara. What is you? What, who am I? That is the vichara we did. That vichara will be complete only when we discuss tat. Without tat, tvam pada vichara, the tvam, what we discussed will not solve the problem, will not solve the problem of samsara. Tvam jnanam alone is not sufficient unless it is tvam pad jnanam alone not sufficient. It has to be followed by tat jnanam, tat pada vichara jnanam. So tat padam also has to be analyzed. So tvam pada vichara, that is jiva vichara, vyashti vichara, that we have done. Now we are going to do tat. Tat means that. What is that? That which you, that means that, by the word that, what you refer to is this jagat. Is this jagat, or is this the reality of this jagat, which is Brahma? The reality of this jagat is tat, that is Brahma, and the reality of tvam, this individual, the Vyashti, is Atma. Therefore, Atma is Brahma. You are that. You are not different from this, that is Brahma, which is Bhagavan, Ishvara. So you are Ishvara. That is a Mahavakya. That is a Mahavakya. How can you be Ishvara? It is like asking how 3 plus 2 can be equal to 1 plus 4. Totally two different things. They seem to be different, but they are not different. The same thing here. You and, that is Tvam and Tat. The reality of the Tvam and Tat seem to be different. They are not different. That is why vichara is required. That is why the analysis is required. That is why the Shastram is required. We do the analysis. So Tat Tvam Asi, which is the Mahavakya, where we have discussed Tvam Padartha analysis, which are been done. And now the Tat has to be, the Tat Pada Vichara has to be taken up. So therefore, we use the word Atma with regard to this Tvam Pada Vichara, that is you, the Jiva, and we use the word Brahma for Tat Pada. That is the Lakshya Artha of Tat is that Brahma. Avoid there Chaitanyam, consciousness. That is it is consciousness, the Chaitanyam only. So therefore, in the Atma Vichara, we have seen Sat Chit Ananda is Atma. Sat Chit Ananda Atma. So when it is said, I am Satyam, Agam Sat, Agam Chit, Agam Ananda Swarupaha, when we say Agam Satyam, Satya means the truth. Satya means I exist. Sat, I am the truth and I exist forever. But then what about this world? What about everything else? There is nothing really, everything else. There is nothing other than you. You are everything. There is nothing other than yourself. But I see the Jagat, the world is there. The world is there. I see the Jagat, I see other people, other Jivas are there. My Swarupa, you have said, okay, Agam Satchit Ananda. What about the other person? What about this Jagat? There are so many Jivas and Jagat is there with which I interact. What is the truth of them? What is the truth of them? So we say they are not different from you. Because there is nothing other than you. When we say everything is you. Everything is you means you are you. There is no difference between you and this The Jagat. Jagat, when we say, it includes everything. It includes you also, it includes all the beings and things. Everything is included. So therefore, since we have the comprehension of this Jagat, therefore we have to analyze this Jagat. And I am given a buddhi to understand, buddhi to comprehend. Bhagavan has given me the senses to perceive. I am given the body. Everything is given. Everything is given. I did not create anything. Everything is given to me. So there is an order in everything. Since everything is given, therefore there must be an order. And there is an orderliness in the creation. That order I did not create. It is there. I didn't create any order. I cannot create also. I did not create any also. It is all given. It is all given by whom? That discussion. That is the discussion, Tat Pada Vichara. There is an order. You have to accept the order. If you don't accept the order, what will happen? It is like, if you don't accept the order, what will happen? Yeah, taking the example of the pot. From the clay, you are getting a pot. The pot is, the material of the pot is clay. If there is no order, then what will happen? The material of pot could be plastic. It need not be clay because there is no order. From the clay, a pot is created. If there is no order, the material could be anything. It could be plastic, or it could be any other material, polymer, because there is no orderliness. If you create a pot from clay, it must have clay particles only. Therefore, it must be clay only. So, and also the clay itself cannot create pot. Clay, a lump of clay sitting, it doesn't go on creating pot by itself. Clay has to be converted into a pot. So all the materials and the tools, everything is required. There is an orderliness. There is an orderliness in the creation of, even in the creation of a pot. Even in the creation of the pot, there is an orderliness. Creating a pot is a simple thing, but there is an order in the creation of a pot. That is the case. And what to talk about the creation of this Jagat? There is a big arrangement here. There's a big arrangement, and I am a part of the arrangement. And there is a contract. There is an arrangement between me and the Jagat. Who created all those things? Who arranged this arrangement, this order? This question comes: who arranged this? If Bhagavan arranges, then who is that Bhagavan? Bhagavan is also already, it's a name. It's already a familiar name. Without knowing what it is, we just use the word Bhagavan, Bhagavaniti. Either you call Bhagavan or X, Y, Z, whatever may be. If there is a person, X or Y, who is responsible for this great arrangement, where is he? Whether the person is inside this order arrangement or outside this arrangement, who is that person? Without understanding that, without knowing that person, the problem is not solved. The problem, what I have, the problem of samsara is not solved. So, Tvampada Vichara alone not sufficient. It is complete. It becomes complete only when Tatpada Vichara is done. The word Tat referring to that order, that arrangement, which belongs to the total, and that is Tatpada Vichara. And in the Mahavakya, what we do, we are equating that. Tat Tvam Asti. The total is this individual. This individual is that totality. Tat tvam asi iti. Tvam is a pada. Pada means word. Pada means a word. Tvam is a pada. Because it is Prathama Vibhakti Ekavachan, it is a padam. Tat is also a padam. It's a complete word. Padam means word. It's a complete word. So Tvam pada means that which is denoted by the word you. We denoted by the word you means we are not discussing about a particular person. A person having a particular name, particular form, we did not discuss. We discussed the reality of the person, dropping the name, dropping the form. What is the nature, the swarupa of the person? That is what Tvam is. When we say Tvam, discussion about you, it is not about your qualification, it's not about your gender, it's not about your body, it is not about your knowledge or ignorance, it is nothing about that. It is the reality, dropping everything, all the nama and rupa, the names and forms, everything is dropped. The swarupa, the nature of you was discussed, and that is Atma. The same way Tat Padam, the same way Tat Padam has to be discussed. Only when it is discussed, then then only this the study will be complete, knowledge will be complete. Then only moksha, then only free from samsara. Mere Tvam doesn't work. We cannot stop with Tvam. Because there always will be doubt will be there. What doubt? You are dealing with this Jagat. You are dealing with Tat. Unless Tat is understood, how can be complacent only with the knowledge of Tvam? The individuality will be there. You will say, I am pure existence, knowledge, and Ananda Swarupa. You keep saying that. At the same time, there are other persons, other people, and the Jagat is there which you have to deal with. So the dealing will become, the transaction will become difficult unless you equate this, the individual with the total. Understanding the individual is not separate from the total. That is called knowledge. That is called Purna Jnanam. That is called Atma Jnanam, Brahma Jnanam. Atma, Brahma, two different words we use from different standpoints. They are not different, they are same only. Therefore, in the Mahavakyam, the great equation, since Tatpada is equated to Tvam-pada, therefore Tatpada has to be analyzed. What is this Tat? Therefore Tatpada Vichara. So when we say Tat Tvam Asi, Tat and Tvam, Tat as in the Tvam-pada Vichara, the Nama-rupa is dropped. Similarly, Tatpada Vichara also, the Nama-rupa, the dismissing the Nama-rupa, the reality of that is what is equated. So this has to be understood. That there is a difference between the two. The difference between the two padam must be understood. The non-difference between the two also must be understood. The difference is there in terms of nama and rupa. I am an individual, limited. The Jagat is also limited, but it is greater than me. It's bigger than me. In terms of size, it is bigger. In terms of volume, it is bigger, the Jagat. Therefore, there is a difference. At the same time, it is not different. When I say Jagat, Jagat means it is Jagat Karanam Brahma, Jagat Karta, Bhagavan. So, there is a difference in terms of this Nama and Rupa. At the same time, there is non-different in terms of this Swarupa. Swarupataha Abedaha. The non-difference in terms of the Swarupa. So therefore, when you see when you see the sky is blue. There is a certain appearance of the sky as blue. It is because of the scattering of light. The scattering of light, it is blue. It is looks blue. It is uniformly blue. So therefore, it is uniformly blue. It is not blue only in India. It is blue everywhere. Even in America, the sky is blue. So there is a law. There is a law. That law is scattering of light or refraction of color. This law is that this law is the law is that the law being a law, it is universal. Everywhere this law is there. We have not created this law, but it is there. It is there in the creation. As an example, this is an example for law. This law is there. So when you say there is, but we know the nature of sky. The sky is colorless. The sky is colorless. There is no blue sky when we say. When you dismiss saying that there is no blue sky, you have to explain why the sky is blue. You have to explain why the sky is blue. Then only you can dismiss why sky is colorless. Really, it is colorless. And the appearance of the sky as blue, that has to be explained. Otherwise, you cannot dismiss. Dismissal is not acceptable. To dismiss the blue sky, you have to explain why. If you are dismissing the perceived knowledge, you have to explain why. You are perceiving the sunrise. You have to explain why the sun never rises. You have to explain why the sun rises. Sun never rises. Sun never rises, sun never sets. But you are experiencing sunrise. Therefore, you have to explain why the sun rises. Because you see the sun rises. Because you see the sky is blue. Similarly, I am an individual. If I am an individual person who is given this body, the mind, the senses, and the buddhi faculty is given to know, and the world is given, the world of the objects and things are given for experience, and everything is given, and I am with this body, mind, senses. It is limited in every way. I am limited. The limited, now through the Mahavakya is equated to Ishvara. I am equated to the Bhagavan, Ishvara. The individual, is equated to Ishvara, the total. The reality of Jagat is Ishvara, that we are going to discuss. But Mahavakya, what it does is, it's equating me to Ishvara. Ishvara is totally opposite to me, because I am limited. Ishvara is unlimited, is total. I am limited when I say, with regard to this body, mind, sense complex, I am saying, not with regard to the Swarupa of me. So you have to understand. Now I am talking from the standpoint as an ordinary Jiva. As a Jiva, I am limited, and Mahavakya says, you are Ishvara, Tatutvam Asi. How can I, an ordinary Jiva, be Ishvara? I am a limited being. I have got limited knowledge. Everything, whatever what I enjoy, it's given. I have not created. It's all given to me. All my faculties are limited, and I am equated to this Jagat Karanam Ishvara. The cause of this Jagat, who is Ishvara, I am equated to him. How this is possible? What is this equation? What is the truth of this equation? Now, the difference between me and Ishvara is so obvious. And how can I be equated? But Shastram does the job of equating the two. That is what the Mahavakyam is. That is what the Mahavakyam is. And in the Mahavakyam, To understand the Mahavakyam, to understand the non-difference between the reality of me, the Jiva, and the Ishvara, only by understanding, then only you can explain the difference, the seemingly existing difference between me, the Tvam Pada, me, the Tvam, and Bhagavan, Ishvara, the Tat Pada. So there is a difference, at the same time there is non-difference. Knowing the difference as not real, dismissing the differences through the understanding of the non-difference between Jiva and Ishvara. That is what this Mahavakya reveals. So to understand the Mahavakya, we have to do the vichara. We have to do the vichara, the analysis of the individual and the total. So therefore, when it is understood that Jiva is not separate from Ishvara, that is called Jiveshvara Aikyam, the oneness between me, the Jiva, denoted by the word Tvam in the Mahavakya, and Ishvara, denoted by the word Tat in the Mahavakya. There is a Aikyam, there is oneness. Oneness is not physical oneness. In spite of the differences, in spite of the seeming limitations, there is oneness. There is all. Therefore, all that is here is only one reality, which is Ishvara. Therefore, who am I? I am also. I am not. I am also. I am Ishvara. I am Ishvara. Ishvara is the Karanam for this Jagat. Therefore, Jagat Karanam Brahma Aham Asmi. This is what the Mahavakya says. To understand this Mahavakya, we have to discuss about Tvam, we have to discuss about Tat, that is Ishvara, and how this Srishti has come into existence. Jagat also is there. The reality of Jagat is Ishvara, Brahma, you can say. But what about Jagat? How this Jagat, Bhagavan has created this Jagat. Because Jagat I perceive, it is available for my experience. Therefore, the creation also has to be explained. That is what the author is going to discuss. First he will talk about the Srishti of this Jagat. When you talk about the Jagat Srishti, Ishvara, naturally, Ishvara, discussion of Ishvara will be there, because without Ishvara, how this Srishti can come to existence. So therefore, Ishvara also will be discussed. So the next topic will be the creation, the topic of the creation. So up to previous point, this Atma Vichara done. Now we are going to do the Vichara of Tat Pada Vichara. Under Tat Pada Vichara, the analysis of creation. The discussion on creation is going to come. And that is what we are going to see. We will see that in the next class. Om Purnamadah Purnamidam Purnat Purnamudachyate Purnasya Purnamadaya Purnameva Vashishyate. Om Shanti Shanti Shanti. Harihi Om Shri Gurubhyo Namaha. Harihi Om.
धन्यवाद गुरुजी.
धन्यवाद गुरुजी.
धन्यवाद गुरुजी.
धन्यवाद गुरुजी.